This is KVUE News at 5.
In front of the nation's capital, hundreds of men and women in uniform honor their fallen colleagues.
One of those officers, a man killed in the line of duty here in Austin, Amir Abdul Khalik. Hi everyone, I'm Mike Rush.
I'm Terry Gruca. A somber day as thousands gathered in Washington, D.C., including President Donald Trump, to honor almost 400 officers who died in the line of duty.
It's part of National Police Week. Among those honored, Austin police officer Amir Abdul Khalik, who was killed in the line of duty last fall. KVUE's Christy Millward is here and gives us a look at that memorial. Christy?
Well, Mike and Terry, Officer Amir Abdul Khalik was injured when he was working a funeral procession. A car tried to cut through the line and hit him. He died a few days later. Now today, thousands, including his fellow Austin officers, honored his ultimate sacrifice. Thousands gathered in Washington, D.C. Monday to remember those killed in the line of duty. President Trump spoke to the crowd, saying attacks on police need to end.
Every drop of blood spilled from our heroes in blue is a wound inflicted upon the whole country.
Among the fallen, Austin police officer Amir Abdul Khalik. Austin police shared these photos of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial. Austin Police Chief Brian Manley spoke to us from D.C.
In a year like this year, where we're putting the name of one of our own, Amir Abdul Khalik, on the wall, is a little bit more heartfelt, and again, it's a little bit more somber.
Here in this photo from Austin Police Assistant Chief Frank Dixon, you can see Abdul Khalik's father and brother as they visited the White House. We spoke to them shortly after Amir's death.
We were blessed with a son that came and served such a great city, and he gave his life for it.
It's a time for us to come together and celebrate the lives that were lost, but it is somber when you see parents that have lost children that have lost their parents. It's a sobering moment.
This weekend at a candlelight vigil, they read the name of each fallen officer.
Amir Abdul Khalik.
Manley says they go to the National Police event each year to support their brothers and sisters in blue.
We're fortunate in Austin that we're a very safe community, but when we experience loss like we did with Amir, like we've done in years past with Jaime and other officers that have fallen, it just brings the message home that although Austin is a safe community, the profession is still dangerous in and of itself.
As part of Police Week, they also have a National Honor Guard and pipe band competition to play tributes to law enforcement and families. The Emergency Services Pipes and Drums Association from Central Texas took home the first place prize. Christy Millward, KVUE News.
Right now, Austin police are looking for a missing elderly woman. Take a look at your screen. Police say Melba Schwartz was last seen walking from her home in central Austin at around 12:30 today. She has medical conditions that are concerning. She was last seen wearing a black shirt and carrying a black purse. Call the police if you've seen her or have any information about this.
After years of doing without, Texas is asking the federal government to resume funding the state's women's health program. The fight centers around abortion providers such as Planned Parenthood, which the state currently does not fund. KVUE's Rebecca Trejo is live at the public hearings on the proposed changes that just wrapped up. Rebecca?
Several women's health groups, including Planned Parenthood, were here at the state's Health and Human Services headquarters. Many of them testified against the proposed changes in funding. Now, what the state is doing is submitting an application to Medicare and Medicaid to request a new waiver for funding from the federal government for their Healthy Texas Women program. The state lost millions in federal funds over legislators' decision to remove Planned Parenthood from the program in 2011. So then the federal government shut off funding. Now the state is essentially seeking to recapture that federal funding. Planned Parenthood is against the move. They say if the state receives federal funding and does not fund Planned Parenthood, it is against Medicaid law. However, before the state can receive those federal funds, the Health and Human Services Commission is seeking public comment until June 12th. For information on that resource and for more information on the waiver that's being requested, you can click on this story on KVUE.com. Live in Austin, Rebecca Trejo, KVUE News.
Another group is vowing to fight back against Texas's ban on so-called sanctuary cities. Governor Greg Abbott signed a Senate Bill 4 a week ago yesterday. It requires all law enforcement honor ICE detainers. KVUE's political reporter Ashley Godot is live at the Capitol. And Ashley, tell us what this latest group is planning.
Well, Mike, the group JOLT launched a campaign called 100 Days of Organizing. This land was made for you and me. Simply put, the goal is to spend the next 100 days educating the Latino community on Senate Bill 4 and registering people to vote with the intention of replacing lawmakers who voted for the bill. The group calls SB 4 an anti-immigrant show me your papers law because officers will be allowed to ask about the immigration status of anyone who is detained, which includes people pulled over for traffic violations. Supporters of the bill say the focus is on the rule of law and ensuring all law enforcement are operating the same, while those against it say immigrant communities will now fear police and be less likely to report crimes.
Separating families just because they're immigrants, profiling people who are brown, and removing our democratically elected representatives for what they believe in is an assault to our values and our democracy.
SB 4 is just the exclamation point on discrimination that has been the record of this House and this Senate and this Capitol. Now, since 2011, there have been 6 federal court decisions that have found intentional discrimination against Latinos.
SB 4 is said to go into effect September 1st, but there's already a legal battle brewing. Attorney General Ken Paxton filed a lawsuit against Austin and city leaders asking a judge to rule on the constitutionality of the law. Now, tomorrow, city and county leaders from across the state are coming to the Capitol to discuss litigation against SB 4. Of course, we'll have an update for you. Live at the Capitol, Ashley Godot, KVUE News.
See you soon. Thanks, Ashley. At least 2 Democrats in the House, Texas Representative Al Green and California's Representative Maxine Waters, are calling for the impeachment of President Donald Trump in the wake of his firing of the FBI director. A recent tweet by President Trump suggests that he could have tapes of his conversations with former FBI Director James Comey. Some are saying that if these tapes actually exist, the president could be charged with obstruction of justice. But ABC's chief legal analyst Dan Abrams says that would be difficult to prove.
Even if you believe that it's improper, even if someone believes it's obstruction, you need to be able to prove it in some way, shape, or form. You need to be able to prove intent, and I don't think we're there.
Some Republicans say that if there are tapes, they may be subject to subpoena. At least a half-dozen people, including a senator and a former House member, have interviewed to be the new FBI director. President Trump reportedly wants to name a replacement for Comey before he leaves on his overseas trip on Friday. And Trump administration attorneys back in federal court defending the revised travel ban. The first version was blocked by the courts. The second version also halted. White House attorneys are looking to reinstate that order, blocking the entry of foreign nationals from 6 majority Muslim countries. Last week, the case went before the 4th Circuit Court of Appeals. The administration needs to win both the 4th and 9th Circuits if it wants to implement the executive order.
Meantime, new images surfacing from North Korea show the country's first successful missile testing. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is seen here celebrating the medium long-range ballistic missile test over the weekend. He issued a stern warning that his nation now has the capability to strike the U.S. mainland with nuclear warheads. U.S. officials have yet to verify North Korea's claims. The White House says the idea of direct talks between the two countries is now off the table. New at 5, the man accused of planning a mass shooting in Austin must remain in jail. According to our partners at The Statesman, a judge ruled Stephen Boley will stay locked up, leading to his trial. The judge said he will consider changing his ruling pending a psychological evaluation. Boley was arrested last month after a search warrant found 3 weapons and thousands of rounds of ammunition. He's now facing federal weapons charges.
Coming out of a perfect weekend, a little bit more wind and a little bit more humidity today, and those both are only ticking up as we head into tomorrow. Let's take you live outside. Here's a look from our Westlake Hills camera looking over downtown Austin. Highs today above average, but below record levels in the low 90s. We're looking at temperatures right now, for the most part, in the 80s and low 90s across the metro. It's 85 in Giddings, 90 right now in San Marcos. Quiet scan on Max Storm Doppler radar, but we're about to see a weather pattern shift, a lot more active weather pattern ahead as we head into Wednesday morning, and for the latter part of the week, thunderstorm chances on the rise. Those thunderstorm chances even for the upcoming weekend. Lots to get to in your full forecast coming up.
All right, thanks, Albert. And good news on a story we just told you about minutes ago. Police say this woman went missing earlier today. Austin police say Melba Schwartz has been found, and she is safe.
Good news this afternoon.
Absolutely.
Well, not so good news. More victims of a worldwide cyber attack.
I think it's a heinous crime, this hacking, because they're putting people's lives at risk.
Why security experts say another wave of attacks is bound to happen.
And later, the surprise for one Central Texas teacher.
You're watching KVUE, where trust is earned.